Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Time for a new sound exchange session discussion topic here. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of music today. There's certainly a lot of good things that are about modern technology, where we are today in music. But again, there's a lot of things from the past that I think trump those pluses and minuses that we have today.
Are you allowed to say Trump?
I probably shouldn't.
Speaking of that, I also want to say Happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody.
Yes.
My motto is don't be a dick.
That's right, don't be
And
a dick.
we really don't point out holidays, but I think that this holiday is very...
Yeah,
it fits with a, don't be a dick.
That's right.
If he stood for anything, it was that.
It was that.
Yeah.
That's right. So
happy
we
Don't
like
Be a
it.
Dick Day.
Yeah, we like Martin Luther King. Too bad he didn't put any albums out.
He did. Totally did, right? Speeches on
Right.
LP.
Yeah, come on, John. You want to cut
What's the matter, John?
John doesn't want to be on camera. No, you
Got a
your
shoulder.
Back. Got shoulder. Too late. Yeah.
In the back of his head.
Right.
Most people see the back of his head.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So pros and cons of music today. Let's start off with some pros. To me, the
Instant access is nice.
That's
I do like
nice.
that.
Like we used to have to wait months and months, and on a radio station, you'd wait an hour to hear, whatever new hit song was out.
You can listen to what you want when you want.
When you want it.
And
I love
like that a lot.
Exactly.
Without having to own it, which
Right.
is pretty cool.
So with that, I mean, it just offers so much. You can check stuff out now before you bought albums based on how it looked.
How it looked, what your friends told you, and you get it home and you think this is a big pile of garbage or this is
You're
awesome.
Like, right. You might. It's why does everybody like this? When I bought Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd the first time, and I thought, why is this so popular? It's since grown on me, and I like it. I don't think it's their greatest album, but bought that one based on everything that I'd heard. I didn't have a way to check it out.
Yeah.
So, but with that now, we kind of flip to the con, and one of those being that
Connectionless. Was that the con you were
No,
talking
that
about?
wasn't the con I was going to go for.
Okay, what's your
We're going
con?
to come back to that one, but it's lack of album art and image. Right? Today, that's not as big a deal.
It became not a big deal. I think it's becoming a big deal again because the people that are buying the physical stuff today are into it. They want it. They want it.
The image. I mean,
the woman who was just here, Christine, just got a record player, and part of her. This was her first batch of records, and what she was buying for today was not just the songs and the albums she loved, but the artwork had a significant place in her life.
That's great to hear, because
that's why she went with Born in the USA over Bruce's greatest hits, because that art
it
was
meant
something bigger to
she.
her.
Yeah, right. And I'm a lot like that too.
So that's cool. So that it's back.
If I remember an album cover, even if I never listened to it, but it's sort of like, oh, I want to check this artist out now, and it's been years and years, and I'm like, oh, I remember seeing that when it was everywhere at a certain time. Then I want to go gravitate towards that and check it out, because there's nostalgia, there's a connection to it, which again now ties into that idea where I feel like there was more connection to the music in the past.
100%.
Meaning radio, MTV, your music magazines.
What was also because it wasn't as instant back then.
Correct.
You had to buy the magazine to find out about the release.
Talk to your friends. Hey, have
Talk
you
to
heard
your
anything?
friends. You ran out to the store to get it. Not that you still don't do that, but it's not as prominent.
Well, now you just Google on your phone and you check it out, and it's right there.
It's not the same. There's not, because you had a connection to it because you put time in.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody gives you something as opposed to you working for it and earning it.
Right. And so there is a con to the fact of the instantaneousness, where music, everyone can go on YouTube, go on a streaming service and listen to it. They don't have to put time and energy into it, which again is the lack of connection now. So a lot of people listen to first song, second song, oh, I don't like this is trash, and they never go any further with it.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even make it through the first or second song. You fast forward 30 seconds deep because Yeah, because the beginning sucked that much.
Right.
That you want to see if the next 30 seconds are going to suck that much also.
Right, and that's all people will give to it. But when you buy the album and you
You
put
have
money,
to-
you've got to listen to
Gotta
it.
listen to
and
it.
even if you get done listening to it and you didn't like it,
You might go back to it again because
Yeah.
it's already there.
and you spend all the money on it. I mean,
And there was the
albums,
excitement of having something new, so you always play with something new until it gets old.
I remember buying Testaments Practice What You Preach based on a friend of mine telling me it was a great album. Now, at that point, I didn't listen to any thrash. So I was not expecting. I was a big glam metal fan. I put that on, I was like, what the hell is this? I was so disappointed in it. It's just not my cup of tea. But I had spent $10 on that cassette.
So
and
it was.
I went back and listened to it a few more times. Now, I didn't actually get into it at that time. Later on, when I started to get into some thrash
you still have the
metal,
cassette?
I did.
And you
I
took that cassette out?
and I
Wow.
played it, and I started to like it a lot more at that point, but I had to warm up to that, But if I'd streamed it, I never would have given it a second chance or a second listen.
No.
May never have come back to it.
Nope. Okay.
All right, so we were talking about lack of connection and the streaming thing being a good thing because it's so instant and you can check stuff out
awesome.
that maybe you never would. But then a lot of people will just
Takes away from from an emotional connection you normally make with a physical product.
Yeah, going to a store, picking something up, looking at the art, or seeing a live video or something online. There's a connection that's made there.
Remember Demolition Man?
Yeah.
I'm going to attribute it to that scene where Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock were about to do sex.
Right.
And I just really wanted to say do sex.
Yeah.
Because it sounds
But
so...
then they wear those helmets and you don't
then,
touch, you don't do anything.
no, I want to...
And she's all grossed out about it. She's like, what? Ooh, no, that's not what we do.
No. So it's kind of... It's a
Music?
good metaphor
Yeah,
to
music.
show the division of the world. We want
It
to...
is.
A lot of people want to touch things.
The old school people want to get in there. and
Other
touch
people, they just...
it. Yeah, keep it at arm's length, right?
It's like the fist bumping. I don't like fist bumping people. I feel like an asshole. I want to shake your hand.
yeah. And
I understand it. People don't like to touch. That's fine.
right.
But I don't know. I just...
Right.
Because I'm an old school jerk and I
Well,
feel like a handshake is just better than a...
Right.
Hey, dude, sup?
Well, I mean, that's what a lot of this comes down to. We're talking about, music and the way that we interacted with it in the past versus music and the way we interact with it today. And in the past, it was more tangible. It was more friendly.
Like a
It was,
handshake, not a
hi-
fist bump.
Yeah, it was like,
Yo,
hi,
what's up?
How are you? Exactly.
Not a...
Now today, it's like, well, no, it's not even anything. There's no connection. There's nothing. It's
That's what I feel like a fist bump is.
Yeah. So my other thing with bands or music
And I understand
today,
a lot of people fist bump now, not even realizing they're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I picked up a
Because
lot of
after
it.
COVID, nobody
yes.
wants to touch anybody.
Yeah, so a lot of people do that. I
was
that
touching
now.
people during COVID.
Before that, I was shaking hands with everyone.
I was shaking hands during COVID because I still believe in emotional connection to things, which is why I buy records and CDs.
Yeah.
Right?
So, another point here, I find that with modern music, it doesn't really matter who's in the band anymore. To me, it mattered a lot more. So today it can be
You're right.
few
You're
members.
buying the name.
You're buying the name now. Going and seeing a show, it's just who the name
Especially
is.
modern artists.
Yeah.
You have a band that comes out
Mm-hmm.
and people are all over them, and then the entire band is fired. We just
Right.
talked about somebody that did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The entire band is gone. and
Thunder Mother.
The kids don't care.
Right. The guitar player fired everyone in the band and replaced them, and is going to continue on. And but the drummer, the bassist, and the guitar.
How old is this band?
Or the singer? I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't think they've been around that long.
Oh, so they're a new young band.
They're a new young band.
So okay, then that's a more of a trend now.
Correct.
Than it was then for whoever the band leader thinks he or she is, and then fires everybody
Everyone
and
else.
says, "Screw it, I can do this by myself."
Right.
And then they're going to sell because nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Because nobody paid attention because you didn't read the...
Right. Because everybody was streaming it, and it's just a logo. And when Thunder Mother puts out their next album,
It's still just a logo.
that's right. And as long as it sounds good or relatively like it did, no one's even going to notice or question it. All right, so a different topic or different thing here, going to pros. There's a lot of bands or artists making comebacks. Bands that didn't record for 20 years or so.
Is that a comeback? Don't call it a
Comeback,
comeback.
yeah, not a comeback, but I just mean.
Were you just going to sing LL
Yes,
with me?
yes,
Also?
I was.
Wow, that's... Is it a comeback or are they just...
They're
It's a comeback, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean it in that
20
regard,
years.
but when the Rolling Stones haven't made an album of new original music in 18 years and put something out,
I don't know if I can call that a comeback.
It's not a comeback, but I just mean
they have the ability,
right.
do that.
Why didn't these artists, Blue Oyster Cult took 20 years between albums. Jethro Tull took 22 or 23 years. But in the last year or two, we've been getting all these albums from these classic bands who finally decided to go ahead and do that.
Age doesn't matter as much anymore.
Yeah.
When these bands, I think, were coming up, age was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't release records after 30. You were
Yeah.
over the hill after 30.
Nobody cared.
Now nobody gives a shit.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. And nobody cares who's in these bands. So like Jethro Tull, who has only the singer, Ian Anderson, left as an original member. Older fans care about that. Younger ones don't necessarily know. They see the name Jethro Tull and go, oh, wow, Jethro Tull's made a new album? And so I think it's helping it to their benefit. I mean, we've only got three Rolling Stones left.
And people still feel they have something to say.
And I like that.
The world moved them enough to
bring them back.
Follow their art, and to put something out there that maybe we'll consume or be into.
Right. And so whatever's happening modern-wise in music that is making these bands decide, hey, I've still got something to say. It doesn't matter. I'm 75 years old, and I've got something to say. And they're
maybe
doing
not 10 times.
Right. But... but still, I mean, the band that your favorite album from last year, the punk band, Dog Eat Dog, hadn't made a record in how long?
Fucking long time.
That's right, and they came back for.
I love the record. I think John's still got a lot to say.
Right, and so I'm just saying, like, there was this period of time from like 2000 to 2020, give or take, in there. All these bands prior to that weren't making new albums, and then they are now.
Now they are.
So to me, that is a real pro to where we are within music today. The con to that is no one's buying these albums, right? They're released to promote a tour, whereas in the past, you made an album and went on tour to promote the album. The album was where you made your money, and so that is flipped.
Yes, the tour is where you make your money, because you're not getting it from streaming and you're not getting it from album sales. Right. People making money off album sales are record companies.
For me,
we're not talking about pricing today.
That's a con. I mean, I'm not even an artist like you who plays in a band. Who
it's all about the live show.
Yeah, it's all about the live show now, and that's why tickets have gone up. So there's a con for you. Ticket prices today
are disgusting.
They're insane.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, I went and saw Guns N' Roses in 1991, and I think my ticket was less than $20. And I went and saw them on the reunion tour, 2016 or so, whenever that happened, and I paid $250. And I was closer.
I think I paid $125.
Yeah, it's insane.
But take a band who does the endless reunion tour. Endless. So Guns N' Roses did it.
Yeah. Well,
I got Guns N' Roses tickets for $33 this past summer. Because
it's
they're
done. Wearing it out. I mean, how long can you possibly do that?
Take a year off.
That's right. And they don't do that, unfortunately. No. They've been doing it since 2016. Here we are in 2024. So 8 years they've been doing it. They're still calling it the Not in This Lifetime
tour.
It's like some people have been born during that time frame and are coming up within it.
Which lifetime, bro?
Exactly.
You've got a whole new lifetime about to come into.
And yet you had Kiss, who was on a farewell tour for 20 years. Yeah. Started that in 1999. They finally ended it. The Eagles had been on their farewell tour.
What's up? How you doing?
Good. How are
you? They did it as the farewell tour #1, #2. They're actually numbering these
things.
things.
Just goes out and plays. That's what I love about Take Life of Agony.
Yeah.
They just go out and play. They never stop going out and playing. They might have taken a couple years to do shit here and there. But for the last couple years, they're not touting it as anything.
Right.
They're not even supporting a new record anymore, right?
Right.
But when they were, those shows were selling out. They were people cared, and now Life of Agony can probably play. I saw them fucking 3 times last year local. So and they just played Friday night and they sold out the venue. So they're playing anywhere between like 500 to 3,000 seat venues in the US, and they're selling out almost every one.
And that's great.
That's cool, but they're just going out and playing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be something mental about that too, because I'm going to see Guns N' Roses. You're going to see the Not in This Lifetime tour.
That's right.
So it's an event. I'd rather just have the event being the band playing.
Exactly.
There's no hope.
Yeah, that other
the
sort
hope
of
is
stuff.
that I'm just gonna have a great time at a live show, and it's probably $20.
Yeah. And I like, bands that don't keep doing the same tour over and over, meaning change up the stage set, call it something different.
I don't even
Make
want
it
a stage
something
set.
unique.
I hate stage sets.
Well, you know what I mean.
I do. I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. I'm
Yeah.
an asshole because I attack those points when people are like, "Oh my God, did you see the stage set?" I don't care. Play the songs.
You don't want.
I don't want Rob
AC/DC
Halford riding
and,
out on a fucking Harley Davidson, and I don't care about
You
your
don't want the Hell's Bell to come down from
know.
AC/DC and Brian Johnson to strike it.
I know it moves some people,
I love
but
that stuff.
I'm going to use Life Agony as my
Right.
Dog Eat Dog is my example. These guys come Quicksand.
Yeah.
These guys come out. They play their set. They kick you in the face 6
Yeah.
times. You're leaving with bloody groin, whatever your groin happens to be, from the intensity of
Yeah.
what just struck you. And the people were all there for the
Yeah.
same thing. Strictly the music, not the bell.
And I
or
agree.
the Harley Davidson.
Yeah, and I went and saw the Misfits at Irving Plaza, and it was that way.
Is that really the Misfits, though?
Man,
I'm sorry. I'm
yeah.
just.
But you know I love
No,
them.
yeah, but it was just 3 dudes, 4
That's right.
dudes on stage.
3. Yep. And
That was it.
There was
Oh,
no
was Jerry singing it? There was
Yeah.
no Michael Graves,
No.
so that's why you saw the 3
Yeah,
dudes.
yeah.
Okay.
And no stage setup other than their mics, their drum kits, and all that sort of stuff. But it was killed.
What's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
How you guys doing today?
You know what? One of the cons that's out there is that bands today take forever to record. Albums take forever to happen. I mean, they don't have to, but it does seem like 4, 5,
Yes.
6 years between albums. It's like, why?
I mean, are we talking? I think we touched upon this, right?
Yeah.
We're talking newer or older artists. The new guys, my opinion
Yeah.
is still the same.
But they're
you
not
are
particularly fast.
young.
Yeah.
You put an album out a year. You have the life experience.
It's
you
so
You have
rare.
it's just.
Most bands, at least 2 years between records. You go back
That's
to
the
the
new
60s
thing.
and the 70s.
It was a record a year, yes, but
It was 2 or 3 records.
new
Neil
bands
Young.
aren't even doing 2 records a year.
That's what I mean.
Creedence did 3 records in a year. The Doors did 3 records in a year and a half.
Right.
Or in a year's time, it was a total of 3
And
records.
those are some classic albums.
Yeah, all great stuff. What's up, man? How you doing,
I'm
Kevin?
doing all right. No, that's right. I got my name tag on. Hilarious. I know I'm popular, not that much.
But so, wrapping this thing up here, it's, one of the major cons is the whole AI thing. Or it's both. I mean, it gave us a new Beatles song. But at the same, I know, look at your face. But at the same time, it wasn't really them.
No,
Right.
Anything that you have to genetically modify.
Right. So it's like
So if you go out and you get non-GMO food and then you listen to an AI song, you're an asshole.
yes, in that case, because it's not original.
But wait,
Right.
what was the topic that we just had?
What-
FAI.
Right. Before
The,
that,
no.
no.
There it is.
Yeah. Speaking of, that's right. There it is.
Oh, they take forever to record. So
Yeah.
as in in my 40s, I know as a person who does and release music. Even I guess you think these guys got millions of dollars. They should be cranking it out. No, man, because life does get in the way, and it's really.
They're
It's-
living
it's-
life now,
it's
whereas
different.
then their focus was 100% the band. They were a unit, like a
So
band.
as we get older,
Yeah, that's how you get the families. They all move
it
apart.
all changes. But
It does.
the youth should be putting records out a lot faster.
I agree. It just takes way too long in between stuff. And I also think it's the production level of these things. They turn these albums into these events as
Were they
opposed to
Def Leppard in the 80s? Remember that shit?
yeah.
Oh, that record took us a year and a half to record.
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
But everyone said, did they do that?
Yeah.
The production was incredible.
Yeah.
It was, but then you listen to a Sabbath record and it still holds up, and you're like, how did they do that?
And they did it in
4
two-
dudes in a room,
like
in
2
2
days.
fucking takes. 2 takes, 2 days.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I know it's hit or miss, and it depends on the band and circumstances and a lot of
Yes.
things that go into it. But it's just today.
I wish it didn't take as
they,
long. Also,
they don't churn out the music as fast and as much. And back then, we got a lot more, a lot faster, and it sounded great.
and it's there because I guarantee you, some of these bands that are taking 10 years to put out, 4 years to put out a record.
Yeah.
Wait till the 10th anniversary of the record, and you get the double with the archival shit, which is also
Well,
on our list.
Yeah, I
of a
think
pro. So you had the music.
right. Right, exactly, and that is another pro for today is that archival music
It's awesome.
is big business. That kind of stuff sat in the vaults for years and years, and I mean,
We want to hear it.
decades.
We
and
consume
now
it.
it's coming out. Now we get to hear it. And that's something we never would have gotten. Back in the 80s or 90s, nobody cared about that. They thought that stuff wouldn't sell.
And look at it.
Yeah.
The same demo 10 times in shitty quality.
Yeah.
Like, listen, so Soundgarden did it with Bad Motorfinger. They're outtakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great. It's not even great demos. But I listen to that all the time.
Yeah, because we're
I
fans.
hear the pieces and the starts of the song and how
Where
the
it's
song
gonna go.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I need that shit.
I do too.
But then you have some bands that have fully formed demos that blow the shit
There's some that
out
are
of the
better.
record.
Yeah, that are better than the album. I hear the demo where it hasn't been, quote, produced. They didn't layer it up and do all kinds of things to it. And that's amazing. And that's cool. So, I mean, again, we have that, instant music and we're getting all this killer archival stuff. But then you throw in AI and it takes forever to record. And there's great things, but I think there's no connection to it today. And in the past, we had that. But we did have less connection. I mean, there's two ways to think about it. So
I think the connection's coming back.
Yeah, a lot
I'm
of
watching it in the kids.
I like that. I mean, today, having that young kid that came in that was all into the Beatles, that could tell us whether the 45 was an original or not, or a repress.
9-year-old
I
kid.
loved it. I mean, I was just wide-eyed loving that kid because he was so into something and so excited for that and knew his stuff. I was like, that kid's going to be a huge music fan when he grows up.
Then I also got a 70-year-old guy that comes in here, and he got a record player a year ago, and he's loving it. He comes in, he's buying
Age doesn't
$6
matter,
to
man.
$8
Yeah.
whatever, and he's just happy to go back and have that physical product again because he lived for so long without it that we are realizing, no, man, there's something to this.
Yeah.
I
I hope it continues to
driving
happen.
a car,
Right.
right?
That's right.
As opposed to walking,
Yeah.
as opposed to somebody else driving you.
I lived in Manhattan for 23 years and didn't have a car. Moved out here to New Jersey, got a car, and can't believe I stopped driving that whole time. It's a freedom, and music is the same way when you come back to it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so let us know what you think. I'm sure you got your own ideas of what are pros for music today, what are cons, and vice versa from the past, and so forth. But those are ones that we were thinking of here. And, enjoy the good stuff and
Yeah, man,
pass
and
on the
don't be
bad
a dick.
stuff. Yeah, don't be a dick, right? Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Are we gonna get?